everybody, it's Doug Green, and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News, and I'm very pleased to have with me today Joseph George, who's the General Manager of LogMeIn Products at GoTo. Joseph, thank you for joining me today.
Good morning, Doug. It's a pleasure to talk to you as well.
Well, this is great. We're now sort of after the two big shows that sort of create a divide in the year, the Enterprise Connect, the Channel Partner Show. We can start to gain a little bit of perspective of where we are as we move into the second quarter of 2025. And today what we're going to do with our readers is give everybody a big broad view of what LogMeIn and what LogMeIn, where it fits into the GoTo family of companies, and also to discuss a recent press release with GoTo introduces new AI translation security innovations to streamline enterprise IT and customer support with LogMeIn Rescue. So we'll get to that in just a second. But Joseph, tell me a little bit about LogMeIn. I have a feeling like most of our readers know about LogMeIn, but probably don't know the whole picture today.
Yeah, absolutely, Doug. And I think you're all familiar with GoTo as a company, and a lot of you are familiar with LogMeIn as a brand. LogMeIn, well known in the IT space to a lot of your readers as well. What we've done just about over a month ago is we've branded our IT products. We've got a broad range of IT products that meet the needs of customers all the way from small, medium businesses, the MSPs to serve them, and the largest enterprises and GSIs. And we've branded those IT products as LogMeIn. So you'll see that we've relaunched our website, logmein.com. We're all part of the GoTo company, so that's not changed. But I'd love to talk to you about the products. And you've known us for what we've done, but we've been doing a whole lot more, and the future is even more interesting as we talk about that.
Well, let's drill down into that. So what are the products that you put under the LogMeIn basket?
Yeah, there's a number of products, and I want to call out a couple of them, right? The first is around enterprise customers, the needs that they have, and what we provide is remote support. That's what we've always done, enterprise remote support that's reliable. Ultimately, you want to make sure that if you have a technician connecting remotely to your laptop, how do you make sure they're doing it securely with as minimal impact to your end employees or the customers at the other end? And how do you make sure it's a seamless experience, right? That's what the enterprise support space has been all about. And we provide that for both IT support as well as customer support. And on the other end of the spectrum, for SMBs and managed service providers, we provide essentially a platform. And think of it, Doug, as IT in a box. If you're a small MSP and you really want to deal with the needs of your customers, you want to grow, you're a busy person, how do you make sure that you can get IT in a box to solve the needs that you have, all the way from remote monitoring and management, managing mobile devices, remote support and access, all those needs combined in a single platform? We call that LogMeIn Resolve.
Now, the IT in a box concept, is this targeted towards which community?
So that's primarily small, medium businesses, as well as the managed service providers that serve them. We know that in many cases, SMBs rely on MSPs, and MSPs as well. You've got a broad range. We've got, the single proprietor who's managing a small business, a handful of customers. They're providing a very high-touch service to those customers, all the way to MSPs that are, they may have gotten there through acquisitions and mergers, or they may have grown organically, right? They've got a large set of customers, a mature sort of practice. They all have very similar needs, and that's where they don't want to sit in front of multiple tools and have to sort of swivel chair between those tools. They want to be able to minimize the time they spend switching between tools, get to the problems quickly, fix them, and solve problems for those customers. That's who we're targeting with the IT in the box. On the other hand, with Rescue, we're supporting essentially those larger customers with their remote support needs.
So with LogMeIn Resolve, what's there for the MSP and the channel partners and so on? Are they merchandising it under their own brand, or do they merchandise it actually under your brand, or both?
Yeah, I mean, really good question, Doug, there, right? As we think about the MSP community, especially, what we're delivering is this capability that's very differentiated. It's a modern platform, so it's built with zero trust security. It's got all the capabilities they need for IT, all the way from RMM, right? How do you monitor, roll out your patches, manage alerts, not just from what Resolve is tracking, but we've got integrations with other products as well, backup security and other systems as well. And as well, in many cases, they may need to manage mobile devices. So if they want to do MDM, mobile device management, that's a capability as well. As well as, of course, LogMeIn, we're known for remote access and support. So think of all of that in a platform, in a single packaging. And the advantage as an MSP, when they offer those services to their customers, they can white label, especially if they've got reports that they're providing on a regular basis. They can brand it, white label it in terms of their own branding. And that helps them deliver not only a superior service, but they can also deliver a service that's very customized. That's really what those customers care about, right? That we're able to provide that, help them be much more effective and productive. And there's a lot of technology that's evolving in the space, especially around AI, applying AI to solve problems in that space. That's what we're bringing to the Resolve platform.
Now, what's the range of the support? Does it include everything? Can you get Teams issues and other things like that resolved?
Yeah. So again, this is really the MSP's business, right? Whatever they're supporting, they're using us as the platform to connect into those systems. And where the space has evolved with the AI, we're actually able to now, for example, automatically capture session notes, right? After there's a support session, Doug, think of it. You've got an IT person connecting to your laptop. You have, like you said, maybe a Teams issue. They're able to come in, they're able to take certain steps, fix it, right? And then once they've fixed it, the challenge historically for MSPs is that they're really busy, right? They're going on to the next support ticket. So the time taken to document that, to create knowledge articles, that's often left behind, or in some cases, they may not spend a lot of time on it. That's where the AI capabilities that we've introduced are helping not only automate that, they're streamlining that whole process. And it gets even more interesting where, think of it as the next time you've got a user that has exactly the same issue, we're able to take that experience from the first technician, create the summary notes, create a knowledge article, even create a script that can be automated. And we've introduced this concept of a virtual technician that can now run automatically in the background. So the actual MSP can now manage multiple virtual technicians to take care of those repetitive types of tasks, and they're not wasting time on it. It's a world where they still maintain control, but they've got these assistants, so to speak, and that's all being delivered as part of the Resolve platform.
Now, at the same time, you have another thing that came out, LogMeIn Rescue.
Exactly. So Rescue is what we're focusing on, where we're solving problems in the large enterprise world, as well as GSI's global system integrators. In fact, 8 out of the 10 top GSIs use LogMeIn Rescue for their enterprise needs. And if you look at that space, what's happening is, for the most part, those tools were all about connecting the expert to those end systems. But now those tools have evolved. It's not just purely connectivity. And that's what we announced, right? Part of it is, like I described in the previous session, in the previous section here, about LogMeIn Resolve, what it can do in terms of session summaries. We can do that. We've got an AI add-on module that not only does summaries, but also does device analysis. So we can look at the devices that the agent is connecting to, identify, for example, there's an anomaly, right? If there's CPU utilization that's running too high, or if there's been multiple crashes of an application, the AI can identify that. Even better, as the agent is going through in a session and they need assistance, if there's a message that they don't recognize, the AI can actually provide them guidance. So they can ask the question. It could be in a different language. We can do translation there as well. So you've got all these enhanced capabilities where it's no longer just a connectivity tool. The tool is starting to provide expertise, integrating with the other tools in the ecosystem as well, right? Large enterprises typically have their own ticketing systems, right? Might be a ServiceNow, might be BMC, might be other tools there. We're actually integrating with those tools as part of that enterprise ecosystem of tools.
And you're also saying that as an AI-driven device, I imagine that the diagnosing and resolving issues occurs at a faster pace?
It absolutely does, because now you've got that advantage of getting assistance. So where you might be stuck, having guidance, and think of it, especially if you've got less experienced technicians in an organization, now they come in because they've got that guidance that helps them to solve the problem much, much quicker as well. So the experience is better on both sides of the equation. The technician can now leverage AI to do faster device analysis. There's also session analysis capabilities. So if, like we just described, if there's a message they don't understand, they can get guidance and help for that. But there's also translation, right? That's another aspect to this as well, where we've provided translation add-ons, especially if you're a large organization that employs language-specific skills in different geographies. You can now run this in a much more efficient manner because you've got built-in translation capabilities as part of the product. So you can think of this, it's just no longer simply a tool that provides seamless connectivity. The tool is now gaining smarts, is providing assistance, and driving productivity and improvements all around.
Yeah, and with this, so we have AI gains on productivity and so on. Also, you've mentioned with both cases, the product for the SMB and also for the enterprise, that there's built in a lot of security features, a lot of cyber security features.
Absolutely. These days, security is critical, Doug, right? And especially we've seen a lot of companies in the space impacted by security attacks and incidents, especially in a remote support connectivity scenario. There's a couple of things you want to make sure, right? Number one, if you've got an IT person connecting to your laptop, you want to make sure that that's a valid request, right? This is an IT person from your company and not somebody else trying to pretend that they're from your company. So that's the first level of security. But also from the IT person's perspective, how do they make sure they're connecting only to the company's devices that are actually allowed, right? How do you make sure that they're not connecting inadvertently to a device that they're not supposed to? So having the next level of security and access restrictions, it could be IP-based restrictions, could be device-based restrictions. All those things become extremely important. In a support scenario, in many cases, you've seen that you provided a PIN code. And in that scenario, how do you make sure that that's validated so that it's actually a PIN code from your company? So not only do we have security built into the platform, this is about taking security to the next level and making sure you've got the right access restrictions, and you can ensure that whoever's connecting is the right person, and they're also connecting only to the products and the devices that they have access to, that they're entitled to.
So the problem with improved security can be sometimes, hey, we're secure and we're not doing anything. All we're doing is security procedures. How do you prevent that scenario?
Yeah, that's always a good one, right? In this situation, it's happening seamlessly, right? Up front, there is obviously configuration set up where you're defining who has access to what. But once you define that and put that in place, then the tool is essentially seamlessly enforcing that and taking care of that. So you're essentially describing, here's my security requirements. These are my access restrictions. Here's the devices that I want to be able to access. And that's saving you a lot of trouble in the long run, right? So in that scenario, you're actually protecting yourself, and the tool is implementing and enforcing those controls. And today, especially as we look ahead, those types of security requirements will become important. Some customers already require it because of compliance reasons, but others will just as pure proper security practice to make sure their environments are protected.
So I also understand that there's some real-time translation features in terms of technical support.
Absolutely, Doug. I did allude a little bit to that in the previous conversation.
Yeah.
But that's essentially what we've added to the Rescue product. Again, very much targeting large enterprises, especially the GSIs that may employ teams that have different language skills. And now there's a way to do this much more efficiently. And there's a couple of aspects, right? One is the live chat translation. So this is sort of a real-time translation of the chat sessions. And you can have an agent now communicate with clients that may be in different geos with different language skills. And you're sort of breaking through those barriers of language divides through that live chat translation as well. But the second is also in terms of screen translation as well. So if you're getting an error message, if you're connecting, for example, to a German language computer and you're getting error messages that show up in German, you have somebody who's familiar with English. How do they actually figure out what's going on, right? So right there, a single click of the button, they can translate components, segments of the screen, see what's happening in English, and be able to fix the problem directly as well. So there, the language barriers start to go away. And it's back on the theme of the tool's no longer just a connectivity tool. The tool's got smarts. It's providing additional guidance and assistance and helping make that interaction between the expert and the person that needs the help much more seamless and leveraging AI for that as well.
Now, since it's AI driven, is there sort of a growing encyclopedia of knowledge that's occurring with every transaction, with every event?
Yeah, that's a really good question, right? So that's where we're building a lot of the technology. Today, a lot of it is built around standard large language models, right? The foundation models that are out there. And obviously, our teams are spending a lot of effort with the right prompt engineering. How do you make sure that you're validating the answers that come back? But absolutely, there's elements of this, especially making sure there's domain-specific knowledge in the way that we're providing these answers and providing essentially session summaries or even translated text. But you can think of it as multiple levels, right? As it's deployed in customer environments as well. Also, basically learning and understanding what's specific to that customer as well, right? That becomes very powerful over time. And this is where we see the continued evolution of these products as well. I really do see that AI is transforming what we can do. And if you think about an MSP that has multiple customers, the ability for them to offer those different types of services for different customers, essentially use technology, use the power of AI to be able to automate and more effectively scale, but still provide the perception that they're the local person, right? They're available there for the customer. And in many ways, they can spend more time on the customer relations because they're not spending time in the back end trying to figure out what's going on with all the problems that they're seeing.
It is an AI tool, so does that add some complexity to your day?
No, it's actually taking away the complexity, right? If you think about the AI there, in many ways, that's what we're doing, right? With the MSP community, with Resolve, we're democratizing AI, right? For that MSP to go spend the time to leverage LLMs to build the right technology, that's going to be next to impossible for them, right? They're focused on running their business. And so we're taking the technology, what we've got in Rescue, solving problems for the large enterprises, we're making that similar technology available for those SMBs and mid-market customers, as well as the MSPs. And for them, they're just using the benefits, the output of what that AI is providing. It's really the engine that's driving this. But in many ways, I would say, Doug, if we're having this conversation 2 or 3 years from now, we won't even be talking about AI, right? It'll be like your phone. Whenever you leave the house, imagine not having your phone. That's where everything's running, right? So AI will become very much part of how we're solving problems. And that's what the value is going to be for not only the technician and the expert and your employee, but also your customers or employees as well.
Yeah, it sounds like there's the democratization, I like that, of AI for the SMBs, but also simplification for the enterprise is what also you're saying.
That's exactly right. I mean, you've summarized it really well, right? With the enterprises, obviously, at that point, they've got multiple tools. They're not looking for IT in a box because they've got multiple technologies. They're looking for making sure that your products integrate with their tools, that these tools together can solve these problems. With the smaller businesses, in many cases, they're looking for that IT in a box. They don't have the needs of an enterprise customer. And that's what I really find positive about my role here at GoTo, right? We've got, with our LogMeIn products, we've got this broad spectrum of customers that we support, but we're really looking at solving those specific needs for them and bringing technology in the right form factor, the right packaging that helps them solve the problems that they care about.
Well, Joseph, I really want to thank you for joining me today and giving us a big update on LogMeIn and also drilling down on these two interesting product groups, interesting solutions, great opportunities for the MSP channel partner community. It looks like some intriguing ideas also for the enterprise. Where can we learn more?
Yeah, thank you, Doug. It's really been a pleasure talking to you as well this morning. I'd invite our readers here and listeners to go to logmein.com, right? That's where our IT products are highlighted. You can test drive Resolve as well as the Rescue products out there. We're part of GoTo as a company. So if you go to goto.com, you can see the broader range of our products that may solve your needs across communications, collaboration as well. And I would encourage you to make sure you look at the problems, the actual use cases we solve. Our commitment is practical AI, making sure that we're applying AI to solve problems and challenges that matter to you and to make your life better. So again, thank you very much for the time and the conversation here, Doug.
Well, ditto. And Joseph, I look forward to further conversation about learning how you guys are deploying AI. And I really love the idea of this democratization, normalization almost of AI. It's under the hood, and of course we're using it. So I'm sure we're going to have more stories about this later in the year.
Exactly. Thank you very much.